Hey everybody, my name is Ivica. Thank you so much for joining me on my latest episode of I Am Gaming Podcast. This is a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, Serbian-based podcast about science, and many more cool things I find to be in the same realm of business and creative ventures. Like always, first and foremost, a huge thank goes to my Patreon supporters because they continue to make I Am Gaming Podcast possible. You Patreon supporters, dear Patreon supporters, continue to make this podcast possible, and I'm so grateful to all of you. So big thanks once again. Everyone else, please check out the description below and see all of my Patreon supporters, because most of them actually have really cool ventures. Some of them don't have any ventures, but all those who do, those ventures are listed down below. So like I said, this episode is about a podcast. It's a podcast episode about a different podcast, and in this case this podcast is called U labu, which means in Serbian in the lab or in the laboratory, and it's run by an awesome team of people, all of which are presently active and really engaged in the educational and scientific community here in Serbia and globally, of course. And they created this podcast where they basically discuss science and different elements of science. I discovered it a few months ago because one of the authors is my longtime friend, and it's really awesome besides that fact because it presents something that is basically brand new in Serbia, which is actual scientists talking about actual science and other science-related topics that might not be directly hard sciences like chemistry, physics, math, and stuff like that, or biology. They can be from the humanistic sides of sciences like sociology, psychology, and so forth, but all of them are really cool. Now, the whole podcast is in Serbian, so if you don't speak Serbian or a Serbian-related language, let's call it a language from the former Yugoslavia, where you can basically understand completely what everyone is saying in Croatia, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, in Montenegro, in Serbia. In that case, you probably won't understand a thing, and I'm not sure if it's able to be translated through captions or subtitles, but if you do talk a language or understand the language from the former Yugoslav region, I think you should give it a shot. Of course, the link is in the description below. The podcast started in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, and it's presently available a range of locations, but main kind of point of focus is the YouTube channel again, which is called U labu, or in the laboratory. I'm going to leave the link in the description below, like I said, and do check it out because it's something that is just starting out, but it is also something that is going to, in my view, just keep growing because it offers a really interesting perspective, a fun perspective on actual science, and again, science-related topics from scientists. And that's completely amazing, actually, not just for Serbia, but for the whole world. That's why I think the same podcast has a huge potential. The only element, of course, is the language, but counting that millions of people are using, let's call, some kind of a form of Serbo-Croatian, Serbian, Bosnian language, I believe that there are millions of people who would enjoy content like this across the world, even those who don't live in the region, and many of those who are interested in science left this region, which is a completely different but very somber topic. All of them will enjoy U labu, so please do check it out. Again, the link is in the description below. Give it a look, give it a try. I think you're going to love it if you like science, if you can understand the language, of course, and if you want to see something grow and expand, this is the right time to check out this podcast. So there you have it, a big recommendation for the same podcast from my super small podcast, but which is in English though. And again, a big thanks to everyone for being here. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for tuning in to a new episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much for being here and for listening to me day in and day out, more precisely week in and week out, unless you're going back to back and listening to my old episodes, which would be pretty amazing, and hopefully you get some value from it, because I'm getting value for sure from the YouTube algorithm. that's all from me. If you'd like to support me, check out my books on Patreon, check out my books on Amazon actually, check out my Patreon page. You can, if you'd like, send me money directly, but no one never did that so far in the last almost 5 years. But the cheapest, easiest, and most effective way to support me is to subscribe to my channel and be here for my new videos. Until then, check out Labu in the Lab, the podcast that is really amazing. The link is in the description below, and I'll talk to you in precisely 7 days from now. Until then, bye bye.